Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. So, I wanted to talk about my experience in the help desk field. I spent around 2 years, I'd say, all in all, doing help desk. Of course, the role itself was called, service technician or service desk analyst, but at the end of the day, it was help desk. I actually had two roles. I had a 6 month stint with the help desk job when I was in college. I was doing a full time that transitioned into part time. They were really good with working with my hours. They knew I was going back into college and they wanted to keep me. And it was a really small business at the time. And so they were kind of struggling. They actually had a talk with the entire team where they had to take a loan out to cover payroll. So that was a huge red flag. I got out of there pretty quick just because I didn't want to deal with the commute, the type of work. They ended up putting me onto work that I should not have been doing at the time, but they just didn't have the resources. So, for example, they had to completely overhaul this law firm and transition their old server, email exchange server, and all of their applications that are hosted on the server and migrate that to a new server. And they asked me, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I could try." And so towards the end of it, I was like, "Oh no, I don't really know how to do this." But I didn't want to say that. And instead of doing that, I just decided to quit because it was the start of my senior year and I didn't really need the money all that much at the time. I just kind of was there for the experience. But that job itself was less help desk than my second role. It was going on site, network troubleshooting, email troubleshooting. Why is my email not working? Very little of it was actually resetting a password. It wasn't. It was actually more of a technician role than it was a help desk role. Even though I was, quote unquote help desk. My second role was with a fully remote service provider. Both of these were managed service providers. The first one was just like back alley managed service provider. They were just trying to figure it out. But my second one was a little bit more well established. So my day to day was resetting passwords, troubleshooting applications. My email is not working. My application isn't working, and it was not really helpful in the long run. It didn't really teach me anything that I didn't already know from my 4 year degree in cybersecurity. It was kind of just a job at that point. And so, for those of you who are looking into getting a job in help desk, I would advise that it's not necessarily a job that you're going to learn anything if you already land the job because you know how to do the work. I'd say that help desk is more geared towards people starting out in IT. When I went into my role, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I was far too overqualified for that role. They had me doing, like I said, password resets pretty much day in and day out, calling people, "Hey, I got to reset your password." And after a year, I kind of voiced my opinion, and I did actually get the promotion to the next tier up. But the next tier up was going to be doing the same exact thing. They were in a period where they had to fire one of the help desk people for lack of performance. I had complained about him a couple times already about his work performance. He just really didn't understand how to do things, and he didn't seem like he wanted to learn. You would tell him how to do something, and he would just go ahead and do the same thing incorrectly multiple times, and you would tell him again, and he would still do it incorrectly. And my boss at the time did not take it as seriously as he probably should have at the time. But I digress. But aside from that, the work itself is generally speaking, you just got to know how to use a computer. You don't need to know that much about networking. It helps to know a little bit, but generally, in a help desk position is just going to be, "Hey, do you know how to fix my email or do you know how to fix this application?" And obviously, it varies from company to company, and they have a different suite of applications that you might need to troubleshoot. But you generally can pick up those applications at the job itself. I'd say help desk is like everybody else says, it's that stepping stone. Yeah, if you do it for about a year, you're probably good. You're not going to learn anything more out of that 1 year than you didn't already know at the beginning. I learned a little bit of helpful things as far as like Azure and that environment, but it's definitely something that is just there for you to get a paycheck, and then you need to work on yourself during the entire process. So if you're not going for certs, if you're not trying to do these other projects that maybe the higher up tiers are working on, then you're not really to get that far in life. But yeah, that's kind of what my experience was in help desk. I thought I'd share about what I've experienced and the trials and tribulations that I had to deal with. If you want to know more about it, I could make an even longer video if people want to see that. Smash that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content. And if you want to see anything else besides Help Desk, feel free to comment down below. I'm always up for new ideas. Thanks for tuning in.